Hello there again, Star Wars The Clone Wars action figure fans, collectors, and customizers. This is going to be another Star Wars The Clone Wars custom action figure feature, and this is a special one because this is actually a work in progress video, and what I'm trying to make is the clone, ARC Trooper clone that you see in front of you right here. And this is from the line art from Star Wars The Clone Wars itself. This is the original designs for the ARC Troopers from Season 3 opening episode of ARC Troopers. Comes right after Clone Cadets. And we see this yellow clone in it for a few moments, very, very brief. And he's the only ARC Trooper that actually survives the episode. The rest of them all get killed. And I thought this was one of the coolest clone troopers, ARC Troopers. And I have the other ones, except for this guy. This is actually another one right here, and that you actually do see in the episode for a brief second when the Aqua Droids are actually attacking the hangar at Kamino. Just for a moment you see them. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make this guy. So I'm going to show you what I got so far. So let's go to the studio. Into the studio. Alright, and here we go. Now, what I've done here is I have my blue ARC Trooper that came in my ARC Troopers battle pack, and I purchased an extra Commander Colt figure from the ARC Troopers battle pack. I'm not using my original Commander Colt that came in that battle pack. He's semi-display back here, and I did paint his helmet so that he's more screen accurate. And what I've done with this extra Commander Colt is I have swapped the pauldron here, and I've already painted out the red so that I can go back and later repaint the blue. And if you have actually paid attention to the episode, the blue ARC Trooper does have the extra armor on him that the Commander Colt has. So I also boiled and popped his legs. So you can see my extra Commander Colt here is now wearing the other pauldron, and this one is going to become my yellow ARC Trooper, and he now has the blue bottom legs, because he does not have the extra armor as you saw in the line art that I just showed you. And I've already started to kind of scrape off and clean up the blue paint on his legs, which I try to do. I could paint over it white, but I like to try to save my paint. The paint that I use is rather expensive, and so I do try to scrape it off. So now, this blue ARC Trooper is almost done. The only thing that I need to do is repaint his pauldron with the blue color. So I'll have to take my blue paint and color match that as best I can and paint it on there. And then I'm going to weather him so that he looks sturdy and ready for battle. And in my universe, this ARC Trooper doesn't die. ARC Troopers are supposed to be very hard to kill. So, and then what I'm going to do with this guy here is I'm going to make him into the yellow ARC Trooper. Now, there will be a couple of discrepancies here with him. For instance, if you saw in the line art there, he doesn't have the extra silver armor gauntlets. But, hey, you know what? As far as I'm concerned, the more armor the merrier. He's going to keep it, and I'm going to turn the red lines to yellow lines there. And he will have that. And then I'm going to paint this comma. Instead of blue, I'm going to paint it yellow, and then I will give him his custom paint details. And I have made a quick little drawing as a reference here, and I'll show you the drawing just to keep myself accurate here. The drawings are very, very simplified because I have to share my computer with my wife, and so she was waiting. So you can see his comma here is white, and it has black diamond-like shapes all over it. This is his shin. His shin has the black line here is actually meant to represent yellow on his shin. And actually, I believe this line comes down just a little bit further, but it's just a quick reference so that I know what shape the lines take and which way they go. And then here on the left gauntlet, or yes, the left arm gauntlet, this gauntlet right here, the top portion here that you see is red is going to become yellow, and then this line right here that you see is also going to become yellow. And then on his chest, this is a really quick simplified drawing of his chest. On the chest, it's going to come down. There'll be a yellow line coming down this way and a yellow line coming down that way. And then that will do it. And I'm going to turn this, like I said, I'm going to turn this line into a yellow line. And let's see, does he have one on the other side? No. So I only have to paint one line there. And then I'll of course give him his really awesome line detail on the head that goes up from the bottom of his, I guess you could call them the breathing, what do you call it, funnel, or not funnels, whatever, you know what I'm trying to say. The breathing mask here goes up to the side, and then there's another little line right there. So that's just my reference. One further thing I meant to tell you, if you're not familiar with the boil and pop process, I'll explain it really quickly. Basically what you do is you put a pot of water on your range and you boil it, and what this does is it heats up the plastic on the figures and makes it soft, so that you can pull these really hard joints apart. Be it in mind though that the rest of the plastic becomes very soft too, and so you have to be very careful. You have to pull with a slow, steady, but firm pressure, and you have to have a good grip. So it is best to have a hot pad next to you by the stove so that you can grip whatever joint it is that you're trying to pull apart, and the hot pad will simultaneously dry the boiling water from your part and protect your hand and give you a firm grip. So what I did was I stuck the Blue Arc Trooper in the boiling water, let them sit for, you don't want to let them sit for too long, 35, 40 seconds is probably more than enough. Pulled it out. You do need to be be aware of time. Don't let it sit too long taking out of the boiling water, because the joint will start to cool off again. And then take his legs out. And then also do the same thing with his. Take his legs out after you boil it. Then what you need to do is you need to stick the figures back into the water minus the legs to heat those joints back up, and then you take the legs that you want to swap them and put them back into the figure after they come back out of the boiling water. Very simple process. So anyhow, that's going to do it for this video, and I will be doing a update video with my ARC Troopers as they are finished. As I said, this guy's almost finished here. I may double check his paint design. There's a really good photo that someone posted on Flickr just a few days ago that shows you what he should look like, and that's kind of what inspired me to swap out the armor pieces. And I will make sure that I got his deco all correct, and if not, I will update his deco, and then I'll be done with him and he'll be accurate. And then I will also have the yellow clone, and I'll do an update for you. One last really quick thing. Some of you are wondering about paint for custom action figures. I use Testors Model Master Acryl paints, and this is one of my favorite blues to use. And I also use, when I can't find the colors in Testors that I want to do, like for instance yellow, they don't have a very good yellow that I like, then I go to Citadel next. That's my second favorite. And this yellow, golden yellow Citadel is awesome. Now what do I use to weather my clones? Well, I use a couple of different things. I showed you already the pastel method, and I'll re-show that for you again. But basically you get some artistic pastels that you can get really cheap at your art store, like this, and I use a couple of different colors. This of course is black, and this is what we call burnt sienna, and you scrape it with your X-Acto knife so it becomes a powder like that. And then you take your really thick-haired brush and dip it in there, and you brush it into the clone. Sometimes, however, when I want a clone to look really dirty, really dirty and grungy, I will use a wash. Now, a lot of people use different things for washes. Some people use acrylic paint and water, so they take a little bit of black or whatever color and they put a little bit of it in water, and it makes it like dirty dish soap. Some people dry brush black on, and I've done that before. I did it with Waxer and Boyle over here, which I'm going to do a video on them soon. I did do a dry brush with black, but you have to be very careful with that because it's very easy to make them too dirty and then they just look ruined. But what I like to use when I want to make a really dirty clone is a very unique solution, and I do believe that I'm the only one that uses this type of solution. And what's in here is alcohol, rubbing alcohol that you get for cleaning wounds or cleaning anything. I'll show you the bottle. Very, very cheap. You know, $1.50, $2, whatever it is at Walmart, Target, or whatever. And then I use India ink. A few drops of India ink into this bottle, and this is the India ink that I use right now, and I have a bunch of these because I buy these Rapidograph pens for my artwork, drawing artwork. A few of these. And why is this good to use this ink? Good question. Well, the acrylic paint, if you put it in the alcohol, works good for a while, but it tends to, after a while, clump up, and you will get these gritty pieces all over your figure that just look nasty, and it doesn't look nice, it doesn't look good. The ink will not do that. It will stay, it's liquid already. It doesn't, the only time that ink will ever harden is if it dries out, but in alcohol it won't. So the worst that will happen is that you will get a little bit of a film on the side of the bottle in there. I don't know how well you can see that. Let me turn my light on over here. And you got to test your solution really good. Yeah, you can see the buildup on the inside of there. But the rest is all dark, black, dirt, carbon scoring, if you want to think of it that way, wash. And that's what it looks like. And there's no grit, there's no grime. You spread it out, it soaks in, and you're good. You don't even have to really seal it once it's dry. It acts sort of like paint does. Really, really good paint. So anyhow, that's my custom work in progress video. As I said, I'll update and get back to you. So until then, may the force be with you. Happy customizing and goodbye.